So good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to the March 28th, 2023 meeting of the Calvert County Board of Commissioners. At this time, I want to ask Father Calvert if you would come forward and give us an invocation, please.
We begin our prayer in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Lord, we begin our prayer in your holy name, which is another way to say that we begin everything we do in love. We hear from sacred scripture, from Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. Good and gracious Father, we ask that you help this be a meeting of encouragement, of hope in you, and of love. May everything we do be done in love. We ask this through Christ, our Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You sound good out there.
Thank you, Father. We appreciate you coming in and joining. And Father Kilner comes to us today from Our Lady Star of the Sea Catholic Church in Solomons. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. And I believe we have an addition to the agenda.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I make a motion to approve and adopt the amended agenda, adding the executive session for a personnel matter.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve and adopt an amended agenda, moving that the consent items to new business and adding executive session for a personnel matter. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to public service announcements. We unfortunately want to take this opportunity to send our condolences out to all the families in Nashville that were impacted by the school shooting that happened yesterday. It's very unfortunate that in this country we have way too many of these occurring, and it's just very, very disheartening. We also want to send our condolences out to Deputy Nick Barger on the death of his father. It's very unfortunate. Deputy Barger was actually on duty working. The call came out, medical issue at his parents' residence, and actually responded to the scene of his father's passing. So we want to make sure that we pass that along. Our condolences to his family. And last week we held a public hearing last Tuesday night on the staff recommended 2024 budget. We had about 200 people in attendance. I want to thank all those people that took time out of their schedules to come in that night and offer public comment, which gives us guidance. That was the kickoff for the commissioners to start consideration for the 2024 budget. And the next public hearing for the commissioners' recommended budget will be May 16th, 7 p.m., probably here too. So, and also on tomorrow is National Vietnam War Veterans Day. So I want to take a moment tomorrow and for all those families that were impacted by our military that did not return home from that conflict. There's a lot of things going on tomorrow. It's also National Mom and Pop Business Owners Day. So in Calvert County, we have a lot of small business, family-owned businesses. And if you get an opportunity, go out and support those businesses and thank them for supporting the community. They hire people. They generally give back to the community. So we want to take every opportunity we can to support our local mom and pop businesses. Also, this weekend on Saturday, April 1st, at the Drum Point Club in Lusby is Maryland Osprey and Nature Festival. And that starts at
11, I believe.
11, yeah. I was gonna say
Didn't they have something Friday too,
11
associated with that?
for-
Friday evening?
They might have it just for their members.
Okay.
This is the second year for that festival. So if you're looking for something to do on Saturday and the weather's nice, you can go down to the Drum Point Clubhouse and celebrate the return of the Ospreys. And that concludes all the public service announcements today. And that brings us to our first proclamation, which is Month of the Young Child. Director Moreland and County Commissioner Grasso.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jennifer Moreland, Director of Community Resources for Calvert County Government. It's a pleasure to be here today to recognize Month of the Young Child. I actually started my career with United Way promoting investments in early childhood. And so I'm still working at it full circle, and I've worked with all of these directors and agency directors for many, many years. We were just commenting on the fact that I had babies at the time. They're all in college and high school now.
That's enough.
So I'm here today on behalf of the members of Calvert County's Early Childhood Advisory Council and the Interagency Council for Children, Youth, and Families to recognize April as Month of the Young Child. Early childhood is a very unique time. It offers a very critical window of opportunity to shape the development to shape a child's development and build a foundation for their future. Children's brains are built moment by moment as they interact with their environments. In the first few years of life, more than 1 million neural connections are formed each second, a pace that is never repeated. During these years, every experience that a child has helps to create the brain's architecture. To this end, the quality of a child's preschool experiences can be key predictor of their success in school and in life. In Calvert County, we are so fortunate to have many high-quality early childhood programs that serve our community. This year, the Family Network partnered with early childhood providers to support our community's youngest learners by offering workforce development trainings, covering the cost of membership to the Maryland State Child Care Association, purchasing learning materials for the classrooms, and providing funds for Calvert County Daycare Association's annual conference. With me today are several child care providers I'd like to introduce you to. We have Brenda Terrell, and she's going to speak next, the owner and director of Primetime Children's Center and Primetime Youth Activity Center. And Brenda is also the president of the Calvert County Directors Network. We have some of those directors with us as well that will introduce themselves.
Thank you all very much for having us here today. I have some adorable children here. Exactly what we do every day is work with those children and some of the programs that are here in Calvert County. And I don't know who's watching the children, the other children, okay?
Don't say that on TV.
Don't ask me that question. I don't have that answer. No. I'm proud to say, yes, I also help coordinate the Calvert County Directors Network here in the county, where we all come together and work together on all the problems, not only of business, but of regulations and of what to do with these children at different age stages. We meet that way. I've been providing child care. This is our 35th year in Calvert County this year in September. Can't believe that either, Jennifer. We go way back. What we do during the day, we know is of great significance to the children, is we're preparing them for school, for the public school system. And they're getting lots of opportunities, experiences, early childhood education, as some of them spend up to 12 hours a day with us, 5 days a week, so their parents can work. And it's great for the economy, it's great for taxes, and we're also employing a lot of Calvert County residents. Some of these programs have 5 to 50 employees in each of their programs. So they're vital here in Calvert County, and we really appreciate you recognizing that during Month of the Young Child. And, we're not mom and pops, but most of us are moms and pops. So we'll celebrate again with mom and pops small businesses here in the county. Any celebration, right? Yeah. We're up for that, and so are the kids, because it usually warrants some kind of sweet. So I'd like to introduce I'm not going to introduce them. They're going to introduce themselves. Come on up. Come. Oh, Jennifer's got this.
I was just going to say, if you want to come up front, and we're going to take a picture, so you can come right up front here. Hi.
Hi, I'm Sherry Poundsbury. I have Sleepy Hollow Daycare, and we've been open since 98, or 89 actually, it's 89. So it's been a long time, good career.
Hi.
My grandchildren.
There we go. Come on up front. Say hi.
We're gonna run out of coins.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Say hi.
And we're all still from time.
Hi.
We'll put them right up front.
Toyosi.
And how old are you?
5.
What can you do? I can read.
Oh, high five on that. All right. Good job. Now you go right up there. Okay.
It's Wyatt.
Good. Wyatt. And how old are you, Wyatt? 2, 3. Oh.
Hey.
All right, go ahead. Your next buddy. Gavin. And how old are you?
4.
4. All right.
I'm Dawn Bowman and my sister Karen Leffler from Dawn's Early Light. Dawn's Early Light has been in Dunkirk for 23 years. Get up here, Lucrezia.
New kid on the block.
Hello, my name is Lucrezia Esser, and this is my director, Ashley Berry. And I have been in childcare for 30 years, over 30 years. It started as in-home daycare, and now we recently opened our first center in Huntingtown, and we have been very successful. Lots of all of our daycare centers, family daycare centers has been just a wonderful opportunity for us and serving the community. I want to say that I was born in Italy. I came to this country when I was 18, and I've learned a whole different language. I've learned English, and I've learned to type. Had my first job with UPS for 8 years, and then started doing childcare because it was hard to find good quality childcare. So that just, pushed me to do that, and I have been doing that ever since. And we are just so very excited. I can be here and tell you all about, our wonderful program. But thank you so much for having us. No, go for it. You want to say something?
Good morning. My name is Angie Figueres. I am the owner of Bright Beginnings Children's Center. We have 2 locations up in Owings, Maryland. We have been in operation since 2003, so August is our 20th anniversary. Yay. I brought my 2 directors with me today. Jessica O'Callahan, she's the director of Bright Beginnings 1, and Colleen Wagner, she's the director of Bright Beginnings 2. And combined in the centers, we service over 100 families in the Calvert County area. So thank you so much for having us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Adams, and I'm the program coordinator for HIPPY, and that stands for Home Instruction for Parents of Preschool Youngsters, the Healthy Families Calvert County program, and Parents as Teachers. We are a home visiting component of Calvert County Public Schools. The programs have been around. Our PAT is our newest, as our partnership with Calvert County Family Network has been around for 5 years. But the HIPPY program itself has been in Calvert County since 1999. And some of these ladies in the room, I know them because we have worked with them for many, many years. And I am so excited to be the program coordinator for all 3 of those programs because we are touching the lives of the children before they come to school. So I'd like to think of us as the bridge between home and school, along with these wonderful ladies here at the daycare centers and in the home daycare centers, the representatives that may not be here. So thank you so much. Thank you, Jennifer.
And this is just me letting you know that when I retire, I would like to volunteer at all of your centers. Just hold babies.
Do you mind getting fingerprinted?
That's a business person right there.
I'll pay for it.
Come on back.
Before we have a picture, we're going to read the proclamation.
but I am so honored to be the commissioner to read this proclamation to all of you. The Kench Grasso grandchildren have gone through a couple of your, I don't want to call them daycares. They were nurturing centers, they were educational centers, two very important things for young children. The 4 grandchildren who were benefactors of your facilities started school and have done very well. You gave them a great start to go into the school system. I did what you do, but in my home for about 5 years. It's not an easy job. There are some days you don't even comb your hair because you're caring for babies and little ones with boo-boos, and just nurturing and rocking and reading and giving them a good start in life while their parents are at work. So I thank you all for what you do. You are so valuable to our community. And I know if you don't know that, you need to know it. So I'll read the proclamation. Okay. Whereas many Calvert County organizations, including the Interagency Council for Families and Children, Calvert County Early Childhood Advisory Council, the Calvert County Family Daycare Association, and the Calvert County Child Care Directors Network, in conjunction with the National Association for the Education of Young Children, are celebrating the month of the young child in April 2023. And whereas these organizations are working to promote and inspire high-quality early childhood experiences for our youngest citizens during the period of their most rapid brain development. And whereas participation in high-quality early childhood education saves taxpayer dollars, makes working families more economically secure, and prepares children to succeed in school, live healthier lives, and earn higher wages as adults. And whereas the future of our community depends upon the quality of the early childhood experiences provided to our young children. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that April 2023 be known as the month of the young child in Calvert County, urging all residents to recognize and support the needs of young children in our community. Be it further proclaimed that by this action, the Board of County Commissioners commends all child-serving organizations for consistently demonstrating superior initiative, leadership ability, support, and commitment to the children in our communities, thereby strengthening families and improving outcomes for Calvert County children. Amen. Given under our hands and sealed this 28th day of March 2023, signed by all county commissioners. Thank you all for what you do. Thank
You want to jump right in the back? All right, we'll scooch in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Right here, you can look at the camera and smile big, Wyatt. Oh,
Everybody on 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
good job.
Thank you.
It's been a while. Good to see you. Thank you all for doing
You're so welcome. Yeah.
Why did we even think that we did corn? Katie's got it all taken care of. Thank you very much.
Good, appreciate it.
Everything going all right?
Absolutely, thank you for what you do.
I know it's you. You have a great day.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I know, it's good. I saw little ones, I was like, wait, we got some. Thank you so much. See you next year. Yeah. Perfect.
He doesn't need that.
Hey, you might help.
So apparently today is Youth Day because the next item on the agenda is a proclamation for the 8U Huntingtown Canes football team, world champions.
Good
World
morning.
champions.
And do we have some coaches to get this started? Want to come up and want everybody to introduce yourself, what you do, and then come on up front.
Okay. I didn't really have a speech prepared or anything like that. I just wanted to say what this team did this year. They won the SMIAC 8U Division I championship, and then they went down to Tennessee and won the National Thanksgiving Day Bowl championship. So they had a very great season, and I had a great time coaching these young men.
Come on up.
Come up. Good morning, sir. County, then come on up.
If everybody wants to line up, then we're gonna ask you for your name.
You might as well
and then
come
you
on
can go
up
straight
here
up
because
over.
we're gonna fill this place up. So.
Tommy Hall, I'm an assistant coach.
How you doing, sir? Good. Yes, sir.
Tim Crowley, assistant coach.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Matt Campbell, assistant coach.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
My name is DJ. I don't know what position I play.
That's okay. You go straight up front. We're gonna get your picture.
Good morning, young man.
Come on around. Come on around.
My name is Gabe, and I'm a cornerback.
Whoa. Good morning, sir.
My name is Germ, and I'm a safety. My name is Carter, and I am a tight end. My name is Luke. My name is Luke, and I'm a lineman. My name is Blake, and I'm an O and D lineman. My name is Calvert, and I'm a DN. My name is Ryan, and I play left attack. My name is London. I play lineman.
There you go.
My name is Gabe, and I play O-line. My name is Jace, and I play tight end. My name is Braylon, and I play quarterback. My name is Justin, and I play running back. My name is CJ, and I play O-line. My name is Hurricane, and I play tight end.
You got too fast for me. Hold on.
My name is Bryce, and I play O&D line. My name is Tristan, and I play running back.
Katie, we need the trophies.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Look, you gotta get over there and you gotta fix
Yeah, that's right.
Team on side.
All right, ready? All right, let's get in a nice line. All right, ready? Who wants to hold the trophy up there? Wait, why don't you do two at a time? Like, you gotta hold it, because I don't want that drop. There you go. There we go. Scooch in some. Are you coming over here?
The guys in the
Here,
back.
yep, big guys.
That's
in the
right.
back.
I'm going to read this for him first, Katie, and then we'll get them lined up. So, guys, I'll read this first, and then we'll do the picture. So, I want to say thank you for coming, and I want to say thank you to Patrick Praise. He has kept me involved in your guys' program for years, and it seems like this is a tradition to have you guys up here. Seems like every year I have you guys up here. So, congratulations again. And you know, mom and dads, I'm not telling you think you don't know, especially if you're new to the sport, but it's a whole family thing. You know, my wife never cared anything about football till Zach started playing, and you know, and it's just, you know, it's the whole family. When you see the sidelines, it's, you know, it's what are we doing this weekend? You know, that's what we're doing as a family. You know, in a time where it's easy to have distractions, you see families, and I'm telling you guys, you're going to have friends. This group right here, you're going to be friends forever. I'm an old man, but when I was your age, there is still a picture of me from that time, as scary as it is, with my teammates that makes it out on Facebook every once in a while. I'm 54. So 46 years ago, that picture was taken, and it's still out here. And, I mean, I just have a love for football. I mean, and you guys know how tough it is. I mean, if the play's getting ready to start and somebody jumps off sides, what happens?
Flag.
That's right. That's right. Kills the play. You know, if the play's going, you're running for a touchdown and a guy holds, what happens? Kills the touchdown, right? I mean, it's the ultimate team sport. You guys learn teamwork, friendship, you know, and you will be friends forever. You'll make it to high school, play against buddies. It's just the coolest thing. I love it how we support it in the county, and I love how the parents always show up. When I get there on the weekends, I go, wow, you know, you think there's like a band showing up or something like that. I mean, it is a great thing. I'm honored that you guys are up here and you have me here to read this to you. And I'm so impressed. Hold those trophies up again. Let's see that, huh? That's some good stuff, isn't it? That's some good stuff. All right. So and please forgive me on names, guys, please. So whereas the youth of Calvert County represent our most treasured resource, the accomplishments, achievements, and abilities of these young citizens deserve the recognition and praise of their elders. And whereas the 2022 Huntingtown Hurricanes 8U D1 team won the Southern Maryland Youth Athletic Conference Championship, the Hurricanes also represented the state of Maryland and winning the 2022 8U Thanksgiving Bowl National Championship at the Rocky Top Sports Complex in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Think about that. To get down to Tennessee, folks. I mean, think about that. Bob, isn't that impressive? Patrick told me about that years ago. I said, really, you get everybody down here in Thanksgiving? And he said, yeah, I mean, that's just awesome. Whereas the Huntingtown Hurricanes 8U D1 team plays with leadership and support of the head coach, Ricardo Talley, assistant coach, Matt Campbell, Tom Hall, Tim Crowley, and team mom, Hillary Hall. Where's team mom?
Come on
Right
here.
there.
You got the hard job.
Right. Come on up. Come on up.
You got the hard job getting the
Come
snacks.
on
You know
up.
them boys want snacks after the game. You know that. As soon as that game's over, they find you. You got to get mom and dad to make sure they brought their snack this week and everything. That's the tough job. All right. They completed their season with a 10-0 record in Southern Maryland Youth Athletic Conference, a 13-0 overall, including the Gatlinburg Championship, taking home the record and accomplishment of undefeated for the season. Whereas the 2022 Huntingtown Hurricanes 8U D1 champion football team are A.K. Stepney, Justin Stepney, Luke Campbell, Braylon Young, Gabe Hall, Carter Crowley, Ryan Minovitz, Jace Holson, Liam Ward, DJ Sessoms, Tristan Brooks, Bryce Bowen, Carver McKenzie, Jerem White, Gabriel Knight, C.J. Savage, London Talley, and Blake Good. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners wishes to pay tribute and dedication to the many long hours of practice and exemplary performance and accomplishments of the Huntingtown Hurricanes 8U D1 team. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that sincere congratulations and best wishes for continued success are hereby extended to the Huntingtown Hurricanes 8U D1 team on winning the 2022 SMYAC Championship and the 2022 Gatlinburg Thanksgiving Bowl National Championship. Be it further proclaimed that appreciation and thanks are extended to their coaches and team mom for their guidance and encouragement to the entire team given under our hands and seal this 28th day of March 23, signed by all 5 county commissioners. Look at all these leaders here. Look at all these leaders, huh? You see that? See those hands go up?
Step up, right here. You guys step up real quick, and then we're gonna push you guys in a little bit.
She's meaner than your coach.
Yeah, exactly.
You come right up here, Bryce. Look at that, man. All right, you come right up front so we can see your big trophy. Oh, yeah. There we go. Whoops, scoot over this way just a little bit. There we go. You see everybody?
Good, yeah. You got everybody.
All right, everybody smile.
All right,
One.
count of 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, Bob's turn.
Dad's going up.
One up
Going
front.
up.
All right, guys. Yep.
Okay, good.
Everybody get in the huddle. Everybody take that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. It doesn't matter where you are. Good job, guys. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Oh, this is great.
All right, you're on TV. What's your huddle chant?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
The Hurricanes on three.
Justin, you want to say that?
Who's gonna call it?
I will.
All right, go
Wait,
ahead.
Hurricanes on three.
Yeah, you're the quarterback. You're in charge.
Hurricanes on three. 1, 2, 3. Hurricanes!
All right, get back to school. Say get back to work. Boys, practice Monday.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Moms have boys, dads have daughters. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, no, that's the truth. That's the truth. Oh, mercy. Girls raised right.
She's talking about her grandkids.
I like that.
Good job, Miss Katie.
She's ready for that.
She
was
grew,
awesome.
Mom.
Well, that's a teen mom right there. Yeah.
Well, empty that out.
Yeah, we went from a full house to an empty house. So that brings us to consent. On the agenda, we have 3 consent items. First is the Office of the County Administrator, First Amendment to the Grantis Service Agreement. Item 2, Department of Finance and Budget FY 2024 Heroin Coordinator Grant Application. And item 3, Department of Parks and Recreation Youth Mentoring Grant Application. Are there any objections to the items under consent? Hearing none, those items will be adopted as presented. So that takes us to our public hearing for Department of Public Works, a purchase option for 255 J.W. Williams Road in Prince Frederick, Maryland. Director Cosgrove.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
J.R. Cosgrove, Acting Director of Public Works. We are here this morning for a public hearing. I'm going to read through the first section. We're here for a public hearing scheduled for today. All hearings are duly advertised, and the certificate of publication is made part of the record of each hearing. Citizens were invited to provide comment on any and all of the hearings for each of the presentations as concluded. The hearing today may have a separate comment period following the brief presentation. Anyone here in person must sign in on the sheet next to the county attorney to speak. I'm going to go ahead and read the memo. We're here for purchase options for 255 J.W. Williams Road in Prince Frederick. Background, on December 14th, 2022, the Board of County Commissioners signed an option agreement with Philip T. Goldstein, Louis Goldstein, and Margaret Goldstein for the properties located at 255 J.W. Williams Road and 221 Stafford Road in Prince Frederick, Maryland. The purpose of the option is to enhance public safety at the Barstow Convenience Center and provide an additional discharge area for the Prince Frederick Wastewater Treatment Plant Number 1 in Prince Frederick. An environmental Phase 1 study was conducted and determined that the property meets satisfactory standards. Discussion. During the study period, no obstacles to the future use of the property as a county government property have been discovered. Therefore, the staff is requesting the BOCC move forward with purchasing these properties. Fiscal impact, agreed sale price, $2,118,000. Deposit is given with the option agreement was signed for $50,000. Funding is currently available in account 4857-51001. Conclusion and recommendation. The Department of Public Works General Services Division recommends the Board of County Commissioners conduct a public hearing and consider the record before exercising the purchase option by authorizing the board president to sign the purchase and sale agreement on behalf of the board. Any questions?
Thank you. I don't see any.
Motion, Mr. President?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Any speakers?
We do have one person who's signed up to speak, Mr. Estes. The board's adopted Resolution 6-89, available here today to maintain the order and decorum of the governmental process. Those attending in person will be invited to speak first. Those joining virtually, I see you have already raised your hand. So we'll start with the first speaker in person, Mr. Estes. Please identify yourself and whether speaking as an individual or the designated representative of a group. This is a public hearing. This is an opportunity for you to provide comments regarding the... Yes, sir.
My name is Bob Estes. I am just speaking for myself, and my comment is this sounds like a great purchase. It's not clear to me exactly how it's going to be used, and I didn't hear that today, which is why I signed up in advance, because I hadn't heard as much as I would have liked to have. And I must have missed it in the publicly proclaimed places where it was covered. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but sorry about that. I know that my group and some of my groups are concerned as to how this is going to be used and the impact on future expansion of the Prince Frederick Town Center. I know that we're running out of spaces to put, let's just call it the spray irrigation for lack of a better term, but it's not clear that is this a replacement for aging systems, or is this a road to aid in future development and expansion, or perhaps it's both. It's not clear to us, and hopefully in the near future, as this progresses, that will be made clearer to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Caller with last four digits 2803. Please press *6 to unmute yourself. Identify yourself and whether speaking as an individual or the designated representative of a group.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Joseph Cormier, and I'm speaking on behalf of my... no disrespect to the gold plate, but this is $2 million for 180-ish acres that the tax plant has valued at less than $200,000. So I'm not sure how we arrived at that $2 million number when we're in a budget. As Mr. Estes spoke, is this expansion going to allow for more development down 231 in the Prince Frederick area? Or is it replacing a current system? Do we have the capacity for what we need? Or is this just going to add on buffers? I just don't understand why this particular spot needs to be turned into more waste treatment facility usage. It's beautiful farmland or forested land from the map, and I hate to see that. All those trees torn down just to add more waste treatment so that we can add more townhouses. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. There is a caller 2590. If you wish to speak, please press *9. Okay. Caller 2590. You will be unmuted. Please identify yourself and whether speaking as an individual or the designated representative of a group.
Good morning. My name is J.C. Hooker, and I'm speaking on my own behalf. I apparently also must have missed this information. I'm not quite clear where this money is coming from, with us being, trying to keep the money within the budget. My concerns are that even though the document had mentioned that it was for Barstow Appeal, but we didn't have any future use, and for this amount of money, for us not to spend a little bit and think a little bit wiser about the future for this amount of money that we are going to need in other places before we purchase something and don't know what we're going to use it for. So I appreciate your reconsideration of going forth with this option. Thank you.
And that is the last person who signed up in person or participated through Zoom.
So I guess I can try to address some of the concerns from the callers about purpose of the property. You know, we as county commissioners just don't buy property to buy property. Some of you may remember that about a year ago, there was a lot of discussion about the sewage treatment plant in Prince Frederick and some capacity issues for water disposal. The plant, as I understand, has processing capacity, but they were very limited on capacity to discharge the water that after the process is complete. So this property is adjacent to our property that we already own there. If you're not familiar, it's right across J.W. Williams Road from the community college. So it adjoins up to the property we already own where the convenience center is, and therefore connects up to where the sewage treatment plant is. So it's going to provide, and we've done soil tests. The soils are perfect for a land application of gray water, I guess for lack of a better term. And as some of you that use the compactor facility on Stafford Road know, that's very tight in there. We've tried to make changes to our compactor sites, make them more user-friendly, more better suited for us to move in and out when we're changing out boxes. If you've been to the site at Lusby and the site up at Sunderland, you've seen the new compactor sites, and they're much more convenient friendly for consumers. So there has always been a plan to try to do that there on Stafford Road, but we also have a facility there for county road maintenance, and it's very congested for any of you that go in there. So we looked at this property as an opportunity to put in a new convenience center and also address the issues for the water and sewer treatment plant. So it's in no way intended to add more density or help with expansion of the town center. I think you all that pay attention understand that we recently took some actions to reduce expansions in the town center. So we certainly don't have any intention of purchasing this property to expand the town centers. And as far as purchase price, we use an appraisal system which is government approved, where we get several appraisals. And those of you that are familiar, tax assessments are based on current use, and when you do an appraisal, it's based on best use. So there's generally always a significant difference between the tax-based use for forested land as opposed to best use. So, while purchasing this property provides two necessary uses for us, it also is going to reduce that density that could have occurred on that property at some future time. So what the balance of the land that we don't use for our two intended purposes will just be forested. There may be opportunity for forest mitigation there or to preserve that forested land. So I hope that addresses some of the concerns that were raised today, and I'm sorry that you didn't see that in the public notification system. It's not as easy as it used to be. We have limited print availability now to do advertisements, but generally if you go to the county website, and you can find those notices. So I hope I've addressed some of the concerns that were issued by the public, and understand that this board does not take lightly expenditure of taxpayer citizens' dollars, but we felt this was a very important purchase and serves needs of the citizens, so that's why we're here today. So if there are any questions, Commissioner Cox?
Mr. President, so just to clarify one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, JR, the spray irrigation, we won't be clear cutting the trees. It'll be for the spray irrigation, just be lanes for the spray irrigation, correct?
Correct, that's how it is now at the treatment plant. We do spray in the woods. We just clear the lanes for the piping. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. No other discussion?
Need a motion?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
President? Yes, sir. I make a motion, Mr. President, that we exercise the purchase option by authorizing the board president to sign the purchase and sale agreement on the sale on behalf of the board.
Second.
I have motion and second that we close the record and exercise the option by authorizing the board president to sign the purchase and sale agreement on behalf of the board. Is there any other discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Director.
Thank you,
Thank
Commissioner.
you.
So that brings us to new business, item 1, Department of Finance and Budget, Interagency Commission on School Construction. Now, Veronica was with us a couple weeks ago, and she said, I won't be seeing you for a long time.
Yes,
just
you
missed
did.
And
I
look
think-
who's
Can we
here
play those
today.
minutes back? I'm sure I got
Promises,
that recorded.
promises, promises.
I told you we'd figure out a reason to get you back in there.
Yeah, Shashita's doing a really good job.
Good morning, Sachita.
I figured if I had to show up again, I'd bring one of your favorite people with me.
Yeah, of course. And you are?
I'm
Direct-
Suchita Warner,
Go ahead.
Director of School Construction for Calvert County Public Schools.
And I'm Veronica Atkinson, Capital Projects Analyst with Finance and Budget. Commissioners, today we're here to add 2 items to our IAC support letter, and that is the Interagency Commission on School Construction. Background. The Code of Maryland Regulations, COMAR, establishes the criteria for the calculation of the formula for the state's participation in the eligible costs associated with public school construction. Each fiscal year, the Board of Education, or BOE, requests through the Department of Finance and Budget to review the upcoming fiscal year's capital construction program request and sign the IAC letter of support. Discussion. In November of 2022, the Department of Finance and Budget received the Capital Improvement Plan, CIP, request for FY 2024 from the Board of Education, and the request for local support for construction projects. The BOE has been informed that the state of Maryland has additional funding available for FY 2024. On November 1st, 2022, the Board of County Commissioners identified and approved BOE priorities 1 through 3. Priorities 4 and 5 have been added to the state CIP request as new projects. Priority 4 pertains to the well system replacement at Mutual Elementary School, for which Calvert County government has already committed 100% of the local allocation requested for FY 2022. The balance of the allocation has been allocated for the FY 2024 cycle. Priority 5 involves design funding required for the 2026 HVAC systemic project at Sunderland Elementary School. Fiscal impact. The BOE's recommended budget for the FY 2024 Capital Improvement Plan, or CIP, is $6,949,297, which is an increase of approximately $1.3 million from the FY 2023 CIP request. The local county share request $2,226,040, while requested state share of $4,723,257. The BOE CIP budget typically includes financial support from both the local and state levels. The local support is funded by debt and excise tax, while the state support is listed under Grants Other. Conclusion recommendation. Staff recommends that the BOCC sign the revised IAC letter of support for the BOE's 2024 capital construction program.
Do you have any questions about any of these projects or the new added 4 and 5, which is Mutual Elementary Well System Replacement and Sunderland Elementary School HVAC Systemic Design?
I see state contribution on design.
That is correct,
Yeah,
yes.
that's new. They got tired of hearing me whine?
That must have been it.
I think so.
Rashida, you want to talk about the additional items?
Absolutely. So, yes, as Veronica stated, the state did reopen the CIP. Normally, they fund about $280 million across the state for CIP projects. This year, they appear to be flush with cash, so they have upped the CIP to $450 million. They had essentially asked school districts to identify projects that might be eligible. And we understand that we are pretty locked in on our local allocation, on our local commitment. So we wanted to identify projects where there would not be a need for additional local dollars, but we could actually capture some state money. So that is what we did. So the Mutual Elementary School Well System Replacement Project, we had money from the county for that in a prior CIP. However, the project does involve significantly more than just drilling a well. We do have to go, currently we're in the Aquia system, we have to go to the Patapsco. However, as part of that, there will have to be additional water treatment inside the building, which is going to require a little bit of modifications to the existing mechanical room. So we can keep the allocation at the local level that we had already gotten approved in a prior CIP, and we're just asking for the state allocation to be able to do that project. The Sunderland Elementary, that is an HVAC project that will replace the remaining HVAC equipment at Sunderland Elementary School, barring what has already been awarded, which is taking place this summer, and that is the chiller and a large rooftop unit. Those were the critical pieces. Those are already being done. This project is a future project that essentially replaces the remaining HVAC equipment. This is for the design piece of that particular project. We will have as a, for the construction funding, we will come back in a future CIP for that. So we're just asking the state for the design money now. So that's essentially the two projects. We already have the local allocation for the design already. It was already identified in the CIP when we came before you several weeks ago.
And so, Cheetah, I don't want to get off topic, but you know, we're in budget season, right? So we're just talking money and futures, and you know, I'm always worried about the future. I'm always looking ahead. But you know, the state's been aggressive with these programs of, hey, we're going to put it out there, but you need local support for it to happen. And I would just like to caution that with future projects coming, that I think we should look at it as a team before we accept money and start projects. Because I don't want you guys to sign off on something that we can't do. And then it all becomes politics. Oh, you don't support education. You know what I mean? Every single thing is not supporting a project. You know, I mean, it's everything's not political. You know, so if at least if we know it's coming, we can prepare. And you know what I mean. And I know you understand what I'm saying, but you know, it's just like if you know you have a big insurance bill coming at the house or something, you start to plan and prepare for it. So, you know, when a project just pops up, like, hey, we're gonna build this, and this, maybe we're not prepared for it, or maybe there's another. You know what I mean. So I'm just cautioning as my 20% as future projects come, that we really all need to be on the same page before we accept or commit to anything.
Sure. And so because of that reason, the projects that we're asking for state funding for have already been committed by the Board of County Commissioners. So we're just really asking
Oh,
for
I know,
state money.
I know. I'm not talking about today, but I'm just talking about future projects, because it gets, you know, sometimes they go, well, there's state funding for this, and our piece might be small for that, but the back end of that project could be large. So it might, you know, sometimes we have folks that live in just that year's budget, not looking forward. And I'm not saying anything in particular, but, you know, I'm just planting that seed that it's just a lot easier if we're all together.
I understand, and I appreciate that, and we do absolutely try to do that with our CIP, and that's why when we come to you, we do present projects in terms of the immediate year that we're looking at, plus the 5 years out, because we do have that plan in place. And obviously, some things will move, they may have to shift back because they're not as critical as we thought. You know, if we have a project that is being planned for 5 years from now, but that equipment appears to be doing better, that project might get pushed back, or it might have to move forward because we're experiencing some failures. So we do absolutely try to do that, and I appreciate that, your feedback.
So I did have one question. What's the total price tag on that Mutual Elementary School project?
So we, so the state allocation is 370,057, as you can see, kind of a strange number. The local allocation that we have from the county is 250,000. So that is for, because the state again does provide for design as well, so that is for the entire design as well as construction.
Okay.
So you already have 250 committed from us. Where's the 250 gonna go if you get the 370 from the state?
It will all be needed as a total allocation for the project.
So the
It will
total
go
project
towards-
cost is $620,000?
Yes. Just the well alone
So-
is about $350,000.
Saying that there's a zero local match is not exactly true.
The local match was approved in a previous CIP cycle.
I understand, but it's at least to me, it's misdeceiving to say that there's no local match to the mutual school well system in this chart.
It looks like the state's funding the whole thing.
Looks like
Yeah,
the
it
state's paying
does.
for the whole project.
Right.
I think that might be misleading because it's the FY '24 CIP that we're looking at.
I understand that. I'm just saying that the total project cost, you're telling us is $620,000. I thought 370 was bad enough
No, it's pretty expensive.
for a well and a water treatment.
Yes.
So,
And you thought HVAC was
I was gonna say,
expensive.
talk to me like I'm two. So, if I'm a homeowner and I'm watching this and I go, my goodness, that's one powerful well.
So how big a well is it? 6
It-
inch,
It is a 6-inch well.
600 feet,
No, it's about 900 feet.
900 feet.
Yes. We have to go about 900 feet based on the data that has been provided on the water quality. So that is going to the Patapsco. It is a 6-inch well. In addition to the well, we need to provide for the chlorination and water treatment, which will occur inside the building. So there will be demolition of, and that includes the abandonment of the existing well, which that part does not cost much money. It really, most of the cost is in the well. And the cost of the well alone is about $350,000.
I just think moving forward, it would be more honest to include total costs. And maybe for the reasons of this letter to the state, it doesn't have to show the local match. But there's a local match. But this thing says it's zero. So as my fellow commissioners have said, it looks like the state's funding the whole thing, but they're not.
Okay, well, we can certainly,
And if you weren't gonna get the 370 from the state, how were you gonna move forward with the project?
we would not have been able to move forward with the project.
Okay. But you already had the 250 from us.
Correct.
So what's gonna happen to the 250 if the state says they're not gonna give you 370?
Well, we would have probably had to come back for more money in order to do the well.
So originally you thought the total cost of the project was 250?
That is correct.
Gee.
So, and once again, and I'm sorry that I'm not just technical on that, but if I'm at home watching this and I go, $600,000 for a well? How?
I think the sizing of the well, the depth of the well, and the fact that it is serving a school and there's water treatment requirements imposed through Maryland Department of Environment have a lot to do with the cost of a commercial project to provide water service for a school and a school population. So I think that there are certainly different requirements versus a residential home. So I would say that that's probably the most overarching answer that answers that,
I mean, do we have
question.
no infrastructure in place that's gonna be used? I mean, it sounds like we're just ripping everything out and starting over, is that?
No, there will be existing piping that we will tie into, so we are certainly using what we can to get to the building. However, a new well will be required. Currently, the school serves off of the Aquia, which is significantly shallower, and they are starting to have issues that they have been working through, but there have been some levels that they've experienced over the last couple of years of water quality not being where it needs to be. So
And
they
I understand the
certainly do
need for it.
it.
That's not in question at all. It just always seems like when it's the government dime, that these numbers, like, they don't even blink. I mean, just in my little bit of time on the board, what I've watched cost go to, I mean, millions upon millions of dollars. And it's like, well, I see materials all the time. And I mean, these costs are 2 to 3 times, sometimes 10 times more. I mean, I know we have a vetting process. I just can't imagine every jurisdiction in the state of Maryland, they don't have nuke plants and LNG facilities and things of that nature. How are they paying $600,000 for a well?
But you bid this out, right?
We haven't bid this out yet because we like to get money, we have to do the application and then we're getting several prices.
But you will bid it out.
Yes.
But if I know you got $600,000, my price is $599. I mean, it just is. I mean, and I know government's mentality of we got to make sure we got funding in place. You know we're not going to let kids not have water. You know that, okay? So why not go out and say this is the problem we have, this is what needs to be fixed, and the best guy wins. I bet it ain't $600,000, but if I know there's $600,000, you better bet it's $600,000.
Well, we can't fix that.
So we originally gave $250,000 for this project, and as time has gone on, we've found that it's going to cost $620,000 approximately.
That 250 wouldn't have had design of, it was essentially based on just drilling a well and not necessarily, there was some water treatment, but it wouldn't have had design costs. We were given a price originally for a well within the Patapsco, which is the aquifer that we're going into. However, the need for the well is deeper. They do have to go into the lower Patapsco, so there is a greater length that is needed, and that is because of the water quality reports that they've received. So the scope has increased in the sense that the well does have to be deeper. And then as far as, so there is a little bit of a scope increase, certainly. And the design was not included within the original $250,000. This is going to require significantly more design of the water treatment. The well is significantly more expensive than we thought because the scope has changed. So
Why wasn't the design included? It seems to me that your
We're gonna have to
design.
stop asking questions because it just keeps getting deeper.
I know,
Like this
because
well.
it's seems
No pun
like
intended.
design would have been your first move. And then you would start pricing out once you do your design, and then you see what direction you're going in, then you've got to price it out. Why wasn't the design done first, or?
So the original scope of what we thought that the well was going to entail was essentially drilling just a new well. So it would have had minimal design, which we thought that we could cover through an operational budget line that we have called capital outlay. And because the scope is significantly greater than we originally thought, the design becomes significantly greater. So that is now included within this full price. So I guess that would probably be the best way for me to answer your question. The other piece that's important to note too is that there are water treatment, bladder tanks, and other pumps, et cetera, within the mechanical room that are included as part of this full system for the well replacement project. So essentially kind of sizing that out, the design associated with that would be included with this, that we were initially not going to do because it wasn't, we didn't think that that was a requirement, so.
Well, to Commissioner Hart's comment in the beginning, I'm beginning to see these CIP projects, while they sound great and they do a tremendous service to the community, once we complete a project, then we come back and then we have to be cognizant of the fact that you'll have a well problem. You'll need a new HVAC. So CIP just doesn't begin and end over a 5-year period. We have to be cognizant when we take it on, we have to upkeep what we are putting in place for the community. Was that your point, Mike?
Well, and just the fear of, and you know, we've had this discussion for years. I don't want anybody to get a misconception that, well, hey, the state offers it out there, we have to jump on it because we may not be able to. I mean, sometimes, you know, we're not gonna be able to. I remember we made a purchase one time and Commissioner Williams said, you know, it was the best price at the worst time. You know, sometimes timing just doesn't go in sync, and I mean, and there's gonna be things, hey, septic, water, I mean, basic things, you know, that this board's gonna make sure it happens no matter what, but we get into building projects sometimes, that we go, well, they've offered this, but if they're not paying for the whole thing, then that's gonna just require a discussion, and not just, I know there's a lot of people around you that, and then you come up here with that, but I mean, and there's a lot of different avenues out there for funding for this and the other, but we just all need to be on the same page that, we know what we're getting into, kinda.
And the Sunderland Elementary HVAC, is that already in the CIP?
For the HVAC equipment, it's in a future CIP.
How far out?
That is a 2026.
So you're moving it up if you get this design money, or you're just using this money to do the design ahead of time?
We're just using the money to do the design ahead of time. We're not going to move up the
And I don't
project
wanna get him
itself.
started on HVAC.
Yeah, cause you know in 26, how many millions you need?
I
Right.
have.
You have no clue.
No,
Because
I
the
do.
well prices could change and, you know.
I know how much I need because it's published already and I try to.
We need
speak
10,
to that.
15?
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
So you
Yeah, I
have,
don't know off the top of my head.
you have fund balance in CIP projects?
Just so I'm understanding correctly, are you asking, do we have allocated CIP money in reserves that's left over? I think we may have some, but we usually try to identify that and try to roll it into other projects. We've come back before you and done that several times. So as of right now, I don't think that there's much. I know we allocated some of the savings that we thought we had from, for example, Southern Middle School's HVAC, and we were putting it towards the visitor bleachers at Northern High. So we've kind of identified those types of savings and rolled them into other projects, so we don't have to come before.
Maybe next time you come, you should bring that list with us and see where the reserve fund balance is sitting.
We can do that.
Because I think when the superintendent was here last time, we talked about fund balance reserve, then there was like 14 million in restricted fund balance. So I don't know where that's at, just saying that, I think that was the number he quoted that day.
Those would be projects that would be allocated. We don't have nearly, I would say,
Yeah, we're in the-
potentially, maybe we're talking a couple of
Hundred.
100,000,
Right,
yeah.
it's-
But we're already planning on allocating that within, for example, the, Patuxent High School Fieldhouse design. You know, we've already allocated some of that money and rolled it into.
Drinking water might be more important than a field house. Just, sorry, I said that out loud.
Yes. Well, Shishita does go in to look at her projects. She tries to keep our number, whatever number she projected,
Sure.
she tries to keep it within that on the CIP. We do work closely. She knows, because I say it too, just because they're giving us money doesn't mean we can afford our portion of it. That's correct.
I guess to follow up on Commissioner Hart, you know, they're all, every time there's a little overrun, they come back and ask, and I'm just wondering what that fund balance, restricted fund balance is all sitting out there for.
We can find out.
Yeah.
We do look at money she has left over. We do keep track of that. And like I said, it's usually like in the hundreds. It's not a large amount, particularly in the last few years. Costs have gone up significantly, which has also impacted her.
Sure,
So
right.
she's had to do very creative financing and construction projects. But to her point with this money, the state's already taken the money. And it's a matter of who they're going to give it to.
Of course.
So,
Well, and see, that's to my point. Everybody gets, oh my goodness, if we don't jump on this, we'll lose our opportunity.
well,
but
it'll just go to another
It'll
county.
go to another jurisdiction, but, and we have to have this. And there are things, yes, you have to have, and I'm already ready for the hate mail to come, but I'm sorry, I worked for a gentleman that said there's needs and wants. And sometimes there's a lot of needs, but you prioritize needs. Water's gonna go right to the top, right? You know, I mean, that's gonna, you know, but I remember being part of sessions that we started talking about fluorine and things of that nature, and that was life and death too. And since I've had this job, everything is life and death. Every single request is, and I say to myself, well, we don't have it today, and we're still making it work, you know? So, you know, the eyes are going to have to change a little bit, because I'm telling you, even without a crystal ball, this real estate bubble's going to pop. We see interest rates going up, people going to the grocery store. I mean, funding is going to get challenging, and very challenging, and we have to, you know, before I got here, it was raining, and there was no steps, and there was no coals, and there was no projects, and then all of a sudden, you know, we got a little reprieve, and now, boy, the go button's been hit. So we have to reel some of this back in, and, you know, I mean, and I'm not talking, you know, and I'm not soapboxing you, but I know you deal with the people that go, hey, that's out there, and they're only looking to take care of that project. They're not looking at the overall health of everything, and that's just all I'm asking, is that, you know, before it makes it to that sheet of paper, before it goes out and says, you know, hey, we're doing such and such, blah, 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 that we just pause for a second and just take the time and get together as a group and go, okay, is this fiscally smart? Does it, you know, that's all I'm asking.
Anything else? Motion?
Mr. President, I'll make a motion for letter support of BOE's FY 2024 capital construction program.
Boy, that was dragging today, Shishita. Phew. I have a motion and a second that we approve and sign the revised IAC letter of support for the Board of Education's FY 2024 capital construction program. Any more discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
That brings us to item 2 under new business, Department of Community Resources to repeal and reenact Social Services Resolution 38-93. Director Moreland.
Good morning.
Good morning again. Jennifer Moreland, Director of Community Resources. Read the memo. Background. In October 1993, the Calvert County Board of Commissioners, BOCC, adopted Resolution 38-93 pertaining to the creation of procedures for the appointment, evaluation, and removal of a Calvert County Board of Social Services Director. The resolution outlines specific procedures that have changed as a result of guidance from the Department of Human Services, DHS, staff, and after reviewing Section 3-501 and SEQ, gosh, I don't know what that means, of the Human Services article of the Annotated Code of Maryland. Discussion. At its January 19th, 2023 meeting, the Calvert County Social Services Advisory Board, SSAB, approved the following key changes to reflect the updated resolution and exhibits. The structure and composition of the Social Services Advisory Board, as well as the duties and tenure of its members, were added. Social Services Director recruitment is done online now rather than through a search committee. Social Services Director evaluation process was updated to reflect state code requirements and the Department of Human Service current procedures, and designating an acting or interim director was added as an option following a removal. Fiscal impact, none. Conclusion, staff recommends that the BOCC authorizes the repeal of Resolution 38-93 and the reenactment of an updated resolution with amendments recommended by the Social Services Advisory Board and approved for legal sufficiency. This was coordinated with the Office of the County Attorney, and I want to thank Barbara Keat with the Social Services Advisory Board, who worked particularly on assisting me in updating this, and our attorney, John Norris, who indicated to me that this was needed updating probably a year ago. Yeah. Thanks, John.
Just advise.
Yes.
Any questions?
I like the best thing in there, fiscal impact, none.
Yeah.
Need a motion, Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
All right. I make a motion that the BOC authorizes the repeal of Resolution 38-93 and the reenactment of the updated resolution with the amendments recommended by Social Services Advisory Board and approval for legal sufficiency.
Second.
Have a motion and a second that we approve the repeal of Resolution 38-93 and the adoption of the resolution with amendments recommended by the Social Services Advisory Board. Any discussion on that motion? Somebody keep me straight. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Commissioners.
That brings us to item 3, Department of Economic Development, Tourism Development Incentive Fund Guidelines and Application. Director Oberg, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
My name is Julie Oberg. I am Director of Economic Development, and I will go ahead and get started by reading the memo. Background. Ordinance 36-22 established a Tourism Development Incentive Fund in Calvert County and requires revenue from the county's accommodation tax to be distributed into that fund. According to the ordinance, the Tourism Development Incentive Fund shall be distributed as follows. 5% will go to the county's general fund for the administration of the accommodations tax. On a monthly basis will go to the municipalities of the county, revenues from accommodations in each town, and up to 20% of the remainder will be available to businesses and organizations wishing to hold a special event in the county to assist with payment of application, permit, and support services fees required by the county to hold a special event in the county. And then the remaining funds will be utilized to market Calvert County to engage potential visitors. Assistance to businesses and organizations may be awarded to businesses and organizations with a valid and complete Calvert County Special Event Permit application for the current fiscal year in an amount not to exceed $25,000 per organization per fiscal year. Awards will be subject to the availability of funds. The approved award amount will be transferred directly from the Department of Economic Development to the Calvert County Support Services accounts. And attached to the memo are the Tourism Development Incentive Fund application and guidelines. Fiscal impact, there's no impact on the Calvert County government budget. Conclusion recommendation, staff recommends Board of County Commissioners approve Tourism Development Incentive Fund application and guidelines.
I like that one too, Julie.
How
Two
much
for two.
money? How much money?
How much money? So in FY '23, the hotel accommodations tax allocation, the revenue coming into the county is budgeted at $475,000. As of today, they've collected $479,724.71. So 75% of that goes to marketing, to attract visitors to the county, so that's $380,000. And then that would leave $95,000 to help offset special event permit fees. And then 5% of that goes to help administer the fund. Last year, I can note that in FY '22, hotel tax revenues were $750,000 budgeted, and that we actually collected $622,303. But, with the closure of the Solomons, 300
I was just thinking that.
in, it's a big loss, so.
And not to get off topic, but that just leaves, 100 beds at the other one, is that right?
There's still a few other hotels throughout the county. I'd have to get back with you
But I
on the
mean,
exact
just
number.
right there, the closest to, well.
It was about
Comfort
half.
Inn,
Yeah, Comfort, yeah.
Comfort Inn and Hilton.
Because I was talking to a lady doing a wedding, and she was just, kind of, you don't think of those, things, and then all of a sudden, it's gonna be a loss.
We're looking into, the county does have the right to collect taxes from Airbnbs and other, like VRBO, short-term rentals. So we are looking into ways to be able to get those revenues collected.
So, having said that, do we provide on our website advertising for individuals that are doing?
So if you pay the tax, we do. So that's another incentive for why we're looking to try to have that information or that revenue collected so that we can help to promote them as well.
And what is the hotel tax?
I think it's
5%?
5%.
Right.
Thank you.
Do
So
we
if
know
they're
how many-
charging,
I'm sorry. Do we know how many Airbnbs or VRBOs we have in the county?
It's hard to say, but they're, hundreds. And we're not collecting a fraction
So that would
of
probably make it up.
It would help to, certainly.
and it would provide them, I have a neighbor who does that, and during COVID, business was booming. But they said since COVID has gone away, so has their business. Which seems strange. But
We would be happy to help to promote them.
yeah, so I was just gonna say, if easy math, if they charge $100 a night, $5, and that'll get them advertising, that's probably
That's probably
a
the
good
biggest thing.
bang for
People
the
just
buck.
don't know
Exactly.
that where they are and availability, because
If you go through Airbnb, then you get advertising through them, but if you're just
And
on your
VRBO,
own,
too.
yeah. So, you have an example of what somebody might do to get this money?
So for this special, so
Yeah,
there's
this
two
is
pots.
a
There's a
fund.
marketing pot and then there's the grant.
The grant.
Yeah. Hold a special event. And that would
I didn't mean to
trigger,
put you on the spot, but for somebody listening,
Sure.
it might trigger, if you had an example.
anything that would trigger the special event permit process through the county. If you're hosting a special event that's open to the public, held in whole or in part under county-owned or operated property, excluding special events held at county parks. So anything that triggers a special event permit now, that would require you to get special services through the county, support services through the county, that's gonna require, public safety or, what else? Roads, sheriff's office,
So if-
yeah.
If one of our farms did an agritourism event that triggered the special event permit, that would qualify?
It could if it required paid services to the county. And then we'd be able to offset up to $25,000 worth of those fees. But it depends on if it would trigger fees, and that will be up to Parks and Rec to decide that.
And Public Works and Sheriff's
Yeah, and they
Office.
share it with all the different relevant county departments. Each event application that comes in is evaluated, and then those estimates are created.
Okay, so you limited it to 25,000, right, per event?
Correct, per year.
Nonprofits qualify?
Yes, but I don't, yes, they do.
Okay. Just trying to trigger some thoughts out there.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Mr.
Somebody
Pres-
can make a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion, we approve the Tourism Development Incentive Fund application and guidelines.
Second.
Have motion and a second that we approve the Tourism Development Incentive Fund application and guidelines as recommended by staff. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Director.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
So that brings us to the work session, Department of Public Works. So this is our monthly update on the resolution 32-16, and we're still awaiting the consultant's report.
Good morning, Commissioners. You are correct.
Morning.
Morning.
Jared Cosgrove, Acting Director of Public Works, and I have with me James Ritter, Deputy Director, Enterprise Funds. I can read a memo, or we can just jump into the
We
presentation.
can just jump.
Joe.
Okay, so we're here today to present to you an update, monthly update for the repeal and removal of Resolution 3216. With that, I'm going to turn it over to James and let him go ahead and give you some update today.
So the background on that, on January of this year, the Board of County Commissioners directed staff to begin the process of repealing Resolution 32-16. As part of that, the new resolution would eliminate the requirement for greater than one water EDU and one sewer EDU for residential customers. So as part of moving forward, we are currently in the process of that rate study that you mentioned. And that rate study is looking at our current rates and future rates to make sure that our rates provide sufficiency and provide a mechanism to forecast revenues and expenses for future rates, debt, and capital impacts. So Water and Sewer has met with the consultant. We had a kickoff meeting where we discussed the timeline for the study as well as the objectives. And then Water and Sewer has been providing data to the consultant to use to facilitate the rate study and kind of build out the new rate model. And that includes things such as expenses and revenues, our current debts and our capital improvement program, as well as any financial reports and agreements we have, such as our interjurisdictional agreements and contract operational agreements. They also are looking at our current rate history as well as our customer classes and what usage is based on those customer classes. And then as well as our current operational data to include our assets and our asset age and what our projected replacement schedules are to feed that into it as well. And then in January of this year, the BOCC directed DPW to provide enhanced educational outreach to residential and commercial customers on various related topics to increase conservation, transparency, and awareness. So of that, we our targeted customer outreach, we generate work orders for all customers, residential customers involved in the audit, and we've completed 135 of those work orders. And of those, we identified 8 issues that we worked with those customers on, and the majority of those are related to irrigation systems and irrigation usage as well as leaks in irrigation systems. It also included uses such as pressure washing, filling pools, and using multiple shower heads. So those added up. Each shower head you use is adding consumption during that time when you're in the shower.
Yeah, let me ask you something. So, obviously there's some obvious things jump off the page. I mean, if you've got sprinklers going every day, the average person wouldn't know how much gallons. Like I was shocked to hear, I think Matt was telling from the health department, I forgot how many gallons a day just a leaking toilet can do. Is there a way to kind of get a little information out there saying, if you have a sprinkler covering 10,000 square feet of yard, say, 2 or 3 times a day, what that gallonage is going to look like, on average, and because that's something that a lot of folks, they probably don't think about. I mean, I don't know how much pressure washing does. I mean, everybody does it twice a year. I mean, but now filled pool, that's obvious. If you got a 30,000 gallon pool, you just put 30,000 gallons on there. I don't think these systems were designed for filling pools. Obviously, they can do it, but but just some of that stuff. If a person says, boy, I got the sprinkler coming on 3 times a day, I'm going to use X amount of gallons. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing to just kind of make it into real numbers.
That's something we can look at as part of our outreach, the educational outreach, and maybe provide some information on estimated quantities.
How many? I mean, well, that's probably a bad question to say. How many folks you think? What percentage actually have? Because I've heard that's a big usage of sprinkler systems.
It can be, yes. Yeah.
I mean, do you think it's quite a few systems out there?
I'm not sure. We don't have an exact number. The ones we know about specifically are ones that have subtraction meters. But other than that, we don't have any data on how many people have irrigation systems.
So Commissioner Hart, to your point, one of my big question was, everybody's getting ready to turn on their sprinkler system. You only need 1 inch to 1.5 inches a week to water your lawn. And just this month in the irrigation magazine, it comes out with any one of your heads, how much it puts out per gallon per minute. And it also had a good sprinklers with a purpose.
Okay.
Pressure that's behind your sprinkler. If it goes, normally the sprinkler heads are 30 PSI. If it goes above that, you're wasting water. So I was going to suggest to everybody out there, get a tune-up on your sprinkler system. Get your heads checked.
Yep.
We don't need to water blacktop.
And to speak that, there are irrigation systems that'll look at soil moisture levels as well as precipitation amounts that'll reduce or eliminate irrigation if there's enough moisture in the soil or if we receive enough
That's true.
rain.
I've seen them run in the rain.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Those are probably just on a timer and not taking into account anything else.
Every day it comes on 11 o'clock, it don't matter
Yep.
what the weather
Yep.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
And it'll rain every day for a week, and them sprinklers are still on the 8th day.
Yes. So looking at those eight customers that we directly interacted with and helped with those issues, if we looked at their usage between the fourth quarter of '22 and the first quarter of '23, we saw a 359,000 gallon reduction in usage. And a large part of that was due to irrigation system leaks. We had one significant leak that was 290,000 gallons.
Say that again?
290,000 gallons
From
in irrigation system. that
one
was
unit?
leaking. Yes.
One?
Yes.
200, say that, 290,000?
Correct.
Wow.
Yes.
Going back to Commissioner Cox I mean, it's to your own advantage because it's money being wasted, literally just wasted, and resources wasted.
Yes.
So did that owner have any idea they had a leak?
Yes. They said they knew they had a leak, and they just took a while to fix it, I guess.
They didn't just shut it off.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Also part of that customer engagement, we were working with communications and media relations and economic development to develop educational materials that it's a variety of content that's going to be delivered over several different medias, or methods, excuse me, through your website, press releases, and social media. And DPW is also meeting with CMR weekly to go over ways that we can collaborate better and increase public outreach and awareness. And then, again, we're also doing a multi-department collaboration between DPW, CMR, and economic development to engage the business community to provide information about usage and conservation. And then we will be providing outreach correspondence to offer courtesy meter checks and conservation practices for the business community, similar to what we've done with residential.
So the next slide you'll have is a clip of one of our videos that we've worked with CMR. They've done an excellent job. And this is just like a 2-minute clip of a 10-minute video that should be released later today on our YouTube channel.
Where does our Calvert County water come from? There are two sources of fresh water, surface water and groundwater, or aquifers. When a water-bearing rock readily transmits water to wells and springs, it is called an aquifer. Wells can be drilled into aquifers and water can be pumped out. Precipitation eventually adds water into the porous rock of the aquifer. Here in southern Maryland, we depend on aquifers for the vast majority of our water supply. These aquifers include Piney Point, Nanjemoy, the Aquia, Magothy, and Lower Patapsco aquifers. The Piney Point Nanjemoy aquifer is primarily used for small water users, such as self-supplied residential users and small businesses. The Aquia aquifer is the primary source of public water supply within Calvert County. Altogether, dozens of community water systems are currently using dozens of wells that draw from these primary aquifers. How does this water get to us? Private users access the water directly through wells, which often fills up a tank that supplies water to the property on an as-needed basis. Public users receive water transported to them through a public water supply system. County-owned public water systems deliver to approximately 5,470 customers throughout Calvert, in addition to other public water systems that are not owned by the county. The water distribution systems are comprised of more than 77 miles of water mains, 750 fire hydrants, 14 elevated storage tanks, 12 hydropneumatic tanks, a standpipe, and other water infrastructure components that make it possible for clean water to be delivered to the county's residential, institutional, industrial, and commercial customers. Before any of this water can reach public user households, it must be pumped from the aquifers into a disinfection process where chlorine or chloramine is added to kill parasites, viruses, and germs. Specific filtration processes are located at 2 facilities to address groundwater quality issues from naturally occurring mineral deposits, as well as use of a sequestering agent in multiple systems to address iron and manganese deposits, where levels do not warrant filtration.
Any questions?
Where does our Calvert County water come from? There are 2 sources of fresh water, surface water.
I think we already heard this part. So you said you've gotten to 135 customers out of how many?
247, if I remember correctly.
But that doesn't include the commercial customers.
Correct.
Those are only residential.
Yes.
And we haven't talked a lot about commercial, but is the consultant looking at commercial too?
Yes, we're looking at our entire customer base.
Because they've got some pretty good bills too that they were
So, I mean,
excited about.
They're looking at the rate study over, like James said, all of our customers. They're looking at the revenue we need to generate in order to, I guess, maintain, our business model. They're looking at the capital projects, what they cost, the use of equipment, the longevity of our equipment. It's all, I guess, more or less a balancing act, I guess you could say, between what we need to spend and what we need to bring in, just like any other business model. At the end of the day, they'll come back with different options of how to meet that business model.
And we should have that when?
The study is about a 10 weeks study, and I believe we're looking at some preliminary data later in April, towards the end of the month.
So maybe before you come back next time. I don't know what your schedule is, but we shouldn't come back again until we have that reporter for that
Okay.
close.
We were scheduled every 30 days, so we'd be at the end of April, so we might have to push it a week or so, depending on when we get the data.
Okay.
So I think it's important that the people understand that the new study is doing capital budget, debt services, and operating costs to get to this new study.
Correct.
I would like a comparison when we do get this new study compared to where we were 2003, 2005, different rate models. because we had another one between 2015 and 18, just a comparison to where we are now to where we're going now.
Okay.
The other thing I might add, the enhanced billing software, how close are we to that, to getting that to completion?
We're working with TS on that right now.
So is that going to be close to this getting a study back, or how close are we?
No, because what we're finding is to get the actual billing software and everything up to running, you're looking at probably an 18-month process from what we're hearing.
Okay.
From the time you start,
Correct.
and we haven't started.
We've been having meetings with TS to
Yeah.
discuss the need and so forth about at least once a month, if not every 2 weeks here lately, to define the needs and try to figure out where to move forward with the vendor we have.
And my last point was the outreach programs. We need to get on them quickly because, like I said, everybody's starting the sprinklers up. So we need to get out. I know we talked about many different outreach programs, so we definitely need to get on some of these programs.
This is a 10-minute video?
Yeah,
That was a 2-minute clip out of it?
Yeah, just a clip out of it.
Okay.
So
And that's being released today?
correct. The title of
that's
the
good
video is
timing for that.
Aquifers, EDUs, and You. So it's a 10-minute long video that CMR put together. They did a great job.
It looked like it. Yeah, looked like it was well done.
But I figured we'd just give you a little clip of the, kind of in the center of it, about the aquifers.
Okay.
And the video shows pretty quick water filtration, but if people were watching 2 weeks ago when we had the report from DNR, the water we're using today is millions of years old, so
Correct.
it's not, it doesn't move that fast.
No.
So one more question. If the person had the sprinkler issue, was they on county sewer as well?
So they had a subtraction meter, so that water was going through that subtraction meter, and they're not charged sewer for that.
Okay, no, I was just wondering what that would do to drain fields if it wasn't on county sewer.
Yeah, it was leaking out onto their yard, where they're saying from the work order.
Okay.
I'm just amazed they didn't shut it off.
Yes.
I am too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is treated drinkable water.
Yeah, it's a precious resource.
Yeah,
I would have.
yeah. I mean, it's just like throwing food away.
Yep.
We good?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
That brings us to public comment. Mr. County Attorney?
Thank you, sir. The board adopted a resolution in 1989 intending to maintain the order and decorum of the governmental process, and a copy is found here to my right. The Ethics Commission has asked that we remind speakers of public comment that lobbyists include those who speak to influence public policy, and lobbyists must register in advance. Floor has been open for public comment, first from persons in the meeting room who may begin making their way to the microphone, then those joining virtually. All speakers are asked to identify themselves and whether speaking as an individual where you be allocated 2 minutes, or as the designated representative of a group where you be allocated 5 minutes. For those attending virtually, please press *9 or use the raise your hand function. Virtual speakers will be identified by the last 4 digits of their phone number or their screen name and unmuted one at a time.
Well, I did promise you I'd be back. My name is Bob Estes, and I'm representing myself, and I wish I had the speed of Buddy Hanson speaking. So I'm going to be talking about the CAB, the County Administrative Building. Again, last week I learned that that building was about to go into groundbreaking mode in the summer. And I also heard that the underbuilding parking is still a part of it, and I have no idea what what's going on with stormwater management. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. So, you know, and the cost of that underbuilding parking is roughly, depending upon who you believe, $500,000. You've heard that before. And I'm not talking about the amount of money. I'm talking about the process today. The process where I've talked to you all about it. I've talked to Public Works about it over the last, 6 months, 9 months, whatever it was. And yet, it doesn't appear that necessarily we're being listened to. Back in the days when the Planning Commission was getting information from staff, the commission was given information that made them feel comfortable. They were told that the parking was a security enhancement. I talked to a lieutenant in sheriff's office. He says, no one ever talked to us. And in fact, he said that it doesn't add anything to security. Then the commission was told that the state wouldn't share any parking. So I went to the state, and they said, hey, it's a good idea. You don't need any more parking. We can share. But that's as far as I could go, of course, because I'm not an official. And even the county commissioners, at least one that I know of, did not even ask for this special parking. And I was told by a now not with us a public works official that, well, wouldn't it just be nice to have that parking that protects the commissioners? We only have 5 of them, but there's 18 spaces. So it's clearly a perk. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. It's an unnecessary perk, and it's, I would hope that that this space, I'd like to see it corrected, that something be done about this. Maybe it's too late, all the engineering's been done, but if it does go in, I think it ought to be for the handicap, for the special employee recognitions, and not for department heads. They can walk like anyone else. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is a caller, last 4 digits, 2803. Please identify yourself and whether speaking as an individual or the designated representative of a group.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joseph Cormier here again, speaking on behalf of myself. I just want to say thank you to all of the support staff at the county government who went in today's, making today's agenda happen, and all the consent items and all the presentations. Support staff really are the backbone of our community. I want to again invite you to the CCAC Awards Thursday night, April 20th at 6:30 at Calvert High School. We're going to have near 200 plus staff members there being recognized and another 100 plus families, so it's going to be a great night. It's just indicative of how important our support staff are every day. To the school day, it's not just the teachers, so when the blueprint says teacher, 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 the blueprint did nothing for support staff, and I hope that you'll be able to work with the Board of Ed to get them to put something in writing with the support staff union to ensure that those staff are given cost of living and raises commensurate with their professionalism and everything they put in. It really is a shame that they were unable to get something in writing with the support staff union, but I'm glad they were able to get something on paper for the teachers union and all the staff that are part of the teachers union that aren't named in the blueprint. It's just important that we recognize all of our staff for all the hard work they do. And again, thank you. Every time I call or email up there, your staff is emailing back Sunday night, and I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they wait till their working day, but I appreciate them so much. Thank you.
That is the last speaker, though we did have an email comment that we'll be adding to the minutes when it's published to the website.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you.
That brings us to Commissioner reports. Commissioner Cox.
I attended the Calvert Marine Museum Volunteer Night, and a big thanks go out to Jeff, his staff, and all the volunteers. 27,543 hours of volunteer service at the Calvert Museum. So thank you all.
Commissioner Arlen.
I also attended that, and if you did the dollar figure on the volunteer hours, it was nearly $1 million. It was $903,961.26. It was very well attended. There was a lot of volunteers there. Had the opportunity to interact with a lot of them, and that's their other home. I mean, these people show up, put in an 8-hour day just like it's their work day. I believe some of them even had as many as like 8,000 hours cumulative of volunteer hours, which it's a cumulative, going to work as a volunteer every day for about 4 years, 5 years, something like that. It was very impressive. It was the first time I've been to that. It was very, very impressive. So that's all I have.
All right, Commissioner Grasso.
I also attended the Calvert Marine Museum volunteer dinner and echo what the 2 previous commissioners said. I'm going to plug it again. My grandson is a volunteer, and he was with me, as was our eldest son. The same day, earlier in the day, I attended a MACO wrap-up meeting in Annapolis, and they provided a luncheon afterwards. But the wrap-up meeting was very interesting. I've come to appreciate MACO.
Really?
Surprise, surprise. But,
How do you do that?
I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it, and to know the nuts and bolts behind all of the counties, and to be participatory in the voting, and to hear different counties' points of view. It's been very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Hart?
I enjoy some of Mako, but not all. I also was at the Calvert Marine Museum volunteer dinner as well, and there's just the best of us, you know. Volunteerism, I mean, as so many of my fellow commissioners have said, they don't look for any thank you or anything. Most folks would never even know, and they're just incredible folks. And we've seen that through the county with so many folks that help it smile and so many other things from our volunteers with their EMTs and firemen. So it's just what a great event. I also went to help MC, I'm going to say this right, at the Therapeutic Recreation Duck Race on Sunday. So I vowed to them we will make it bigger next year, Calvert County. It is a great, great, great fundraiser, and I will make sure that I do my part to help get that word out there beforehand. But some of the folks, they've been doing it. One young lady said she's been emceeing it for 7 years, and just what a great event. And you know, on the Parks and Recs employees, you know, when you're out and about on the weekends and you're able to enjoy so many things, they're making it happen. I mean, I'm at these fields all the time, and the different places they're at, and they're always smiling. You go to one of our parks or anything, it's always clean. There's always, you can't go to a store and get as much help as you can from our folks out there. I mean, you try to ask somebody where something is, and they say it's over there. You know, I always hate that. You go in a store, it's got 97 aisles, and where is it? Over there. I've never seen a shelf called over there, but apparently there is one. And
Aisle 6.
Yeah, you know, but they're just outstanding. And so I told them I would help plug this. There is an Easter egg hunt, April 2nd. Total time 12:30 to 3 at Halloween Point Park. So very important on these times. At 1:30 will be ages 3 and under. 1:45, ages 4 to 5. 2 p.m. will be ages 6 to 8, and at 2:30, 9 to 12. And there is a weather hotline, just in case there's any questions that day, will be 410-535-1600, extension 2640. And once again, just want to say thank you to all of them.
Very good. So I too was at the Marine Museum last Thursday night. It was the first time they've ever had all 5 county commissioners attend their event, and it's not even an election year.
I love that. That was my favorite thing.
I want to thank my fellow commissioners for coming out, because as Commissioner Ireland and Commissioner Cox have already talked about, it's amazing what those volunteers do down there. And I went back Saturday. It was Otter Mania. Took my grandsons and our family, and I saw those same volunteers there Saturday morning. They didn't feed me again, but oh well. And Director Murray was here this morning, said they had over 1,600 people there Saturday. They set a new record, and the gift shop did over $10,000 worth of business. So it's an amazing place. If you've never been, you need to go and see it for yourselves. And then Saturday afternoon, I went to the Concerned Black Women of Calvert County's award event, where they recognized 10 women for their outstanding contributions to the community here in Calvert County. And that was held at the Rescue Squad, and there was probably 100 people there. So, and then let me see, what else did I do? Yesterday, I had to go to Annapolis for a Senate confirmation, because apparently I'm a new member of the Critical Areas Commission for the state of Maryland.
Congratulations.
So,
Good.
We'll see. But I did bump into some of my old friends from back in the day, so it was the quickest I've ever been to Annapolis. If we could just get our bill hearings, because somebody was looking out for me, because they had confirmation hearings last night for probably 200 people. I was number 5 on the list.
Nice.
I was in and out of there. I think my parking ticket was $2.
Wow.
I was in and out of there. It was nice. So, And once again, we want to extend our condolences to the families that were impacted by the shooting in Nashville yesterday, and also to the family of the Bill Berger family for his loss. And tomorrow is National Vietnam War Veterans Day, so we make sure we keep all those Vietnam veterans in our thoughts and prayers. I believe that's all I have. Commissioner Hart, you have a motion for me?
I'm slacking.
One small job.
I know, right? It's terrible, isn't it? I got just listening to what you were saying.
And by the way, all the Girl Scouts out there, I'm still eating Girl Scout cookies, so thank you very much for that.
I am as well.
Mr. President, I move that we recess to executive session pursuant to Section 3-305B1I to discuss a personal matter regarding employees over whom we have jurisdiction.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we go into executive session, and I do have discussion for that motion. Not relevant. This coming Sunday, 46 years ago, was the best day of my life when she said, "I do." So,
Wow.
I want to wish my wife a happy anniversary this coming Sunday, April the 2nd.
Is it?
Thank
Happy
you very much,
anniversary.
baby. So, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Y'all have a great day.